Chapter 3 of my book. This is an epigraph from James Baldwin. Children have never been good at listening to their elders, but they have never failed to imitate them. In my baby book, there is a stack of little pages from my pediatrician, Betty Bradley. They begin in 1960 and end in 1965. On each one, there are the same three things written in Dr. Bradley's cursive script: skim milk, watch diet, juice. Other than the occasional cold or breakout of poison ivy, I seem to have been a healthy kid. But on every sheet, there is the same three admonitions. In 1961, I was given thyroid pills. My weight is written on the right-hand corner. In 1965, I weighed 137 pounds, and there are exclamation points after the number. 2 months later, I weighed 142. I liked having a woman doctor, but I remember dreading the weigh-in. On the way home, Mom and I would discuss the need for me to watch my cookie consumption, and Mom would vow to watch hers as well. Then we would stop to buy skim milk and one last ice cream cone. There was a little store to which my grandmother sent me for bread or milk. They had penny candy. For a nickel, I got a little wax bottle filled with sweet syrup, a Tootsie Roll, licorice, a straw filled with colored sugar, and bubble gum. There was a butcher shop to which Grandma sent me for a pound of bologna or ham. The butcher would always slice a small piece for me to eat while I waited. There was a bakery where we would get fresh baked and sliced rye bread or a special dessert. The women at the bakery always gave children a cookie. Our house was a loud and cantankerous place. Grandmom and Pop-Up were both losing their hearing, so even casual conversations were shouted. And they argued. And my mother and my grandmom argued. I was the liaison. If Grandma didn't hear something that Pop-Up said, I reiterated at a higher volume. If Mom became frustrated by Grandma's mood, I filled her in on the day's events. Uncle John lived with us until he got married. I was the flower girl in his wedding. Mom hoped that I could have his room, but by then my grandparents wanted separate bedrooms. We stayed where we were in the room with the Humpty Dumpty linoleum. My Aunt Jean had a third child, and they moved from across the street into a bigger house farther away. Uncle John and his wife had 4 kids. There were 7 cousins between the two families. Everyone came back to the neighborhood on Sundays for church and Grandma's house for lunch. We stopped at Isley's for their famous chipped ham and sandwich rolls. We begged Grandmom for sourdoughs, the little round hard candies that she kept hidden. Just looking at the light shaft. We begged my mom for her fresh baked cookies. We begged my aunt for bottles of ginger ale. I woke up on Easter morning to search for the basket full of jelly beans and chocolate bunnies. I woke up on Christmas morning to find the chocolate Santas and oranges in my stocking. Every Christmas, we had liver pudding for breakfast. It was some crazy tradition, a bowl of mushy liver. The aunts and uncles and cousins came home for holidays. We had turkey on Thanksgiving, ham on Easter, turkey on Christmas. All the kids sat at card tables in the living room. There were special dishes and turkey or bunny or salt and pepper, turkey or bunny or Santa salt and pepper shakers. And after dinner, the cousins would go back to their new neighborhoods. One Christmas, the adults were slumped in the living room chairs watching Perry Como on the black and white television through drooping eyes, their bellies rumbling with digestion. The last of the turkey and mashed potatoes and green beans were packed into Pyrex containers and put into the fridge. The dishes with the holly wreath design were washed, dried, and put back into the dining room hutch. I was sitting beside the tree admiring the pile of presents that were mine, wearing my new red flannel robe. I had a gold leather journal with its own little metal key. My father's sister, Aunt Wanda, had sent me a wooden box with 2 oval decoupage pictures of Swiss mountain scenes on the lid. It also had a key. I carefully locked the journal and put it in the box. Then I locked the box. The keys fit nicely into the little pocket on my pajama top. I held the box reverently with both hands and stood up. Moving from adult to adult, grandmother, grandfather, and mother, I bade them all a Merry Christmas with kisses on cheeks and announced that I was off to bed. Halfway up the stairs, I heard them laugh, and I heard my mother say, "Sarah Bernhardt." It was not the first time I'd heard the comparison. My family often commented on my flair for the dramatic. And this was a moment of high drama. I took the box to my desk, retrieved the keys from my pocket, and took the journal out of the box. Sitting at the desk for a few moments to savor my reverie, I took in the image of snow falling on the slanted roof just outside of the window, retrieved the full foil-wrapped chocolate Santa from the pocket of my flannel robe, carefully unwrapped it so that the image of Santa on the foil remained intact, popped it into my mouth, and reached for a number 2 Ticonderoga. I wrote in my best second grade cursive. I got a journal for Christmas. Now I can write down all my secrets. I slipped the flat foil Santa into the journal, closed it and locked it, and put it back in the box, closed and locked the box, slipped it under my bed, and went to sleep. I didn't actually have many secrets, but every night before I went to bed, I wrote a few lines about my day. We sat on the porch in summer evenings listening to the radio while Bob Shields announced the Pittsburgh Pirates playing baseball. Grandma made us Hires root beer floats. I used a pretzel to scoop out the ice cream, filled my mouth with salt and sweet and fizz. In 1960, Bill Mazeroski led off the bottom of the ninth by hitting the ball over the left wall at Forbes Field. It was a home run. The game had been close. The score was 9-9 when Mazeroski hit that ball. The adults had been yelling at the radio through the whole game. Now they whooped and hollered with glee. The Pirates had won the World Series. I didn't understand baseball, but I danced around the porch and whooped and hollered along with them. 2 of my responsibilities were to set the table and say grace before dinner. God is good, God is great, God is good, and we thank him for this food. By his hand we are fed, and we thank him for our daily bread.